Hey everybody, just popping in here really quick off the cuff. I'll try to keep this short. It's important to know Bible prophecy. It's important to watch the news. Certainly, if you've watched my videos, you know I've covered quite a bit of that in the last couple months, especially. I think probably like 60 hours, maybe even more of news coverage. And that's important. It's important to keep our fingers on the pulse with all these things that are happening, because I do believe we are in that final generation of the Lord's return, and that means a lot of crazy things. But I think while it's important to do that, and it's important to have the proper understanding of these prophecies, these Bible prophecies and news, it's also important to focus on the timeless things. It's important to focus on the things that really matter, the things that are going to be here forever. At some point in time, there'll be no more news. There'll be no more, evil. There's not going to be any more sin. There's not going to be any more death. And so all these things are passing away. And my point with all this is don't let the news cycle and don't let all these things get to you and distract you from pursuing and meditating on the timelessness of God, on the source of all goodness and gratitude and generosity and wisdom, theology, all of the wonderful things that we can study, typology. There's so much good stuff to study that is enriching you and preparing you for the life that awaits. That's what matters. And so with that in mind, I released a recent project that I'm very happy about. I'm very grateful that God put it on my heart to redo this thing and to bring it back out there, because it was a very meaningful project to me. But unfortunately, when I released it originally in 2019, it was what it was, right? I was very much in the new age, and it was a great book. It was called The Gratitude Map. Hopefully you've seen the post about it, but I'll leave a comment or I'll leave a description in this post so you can read what it means to me, what the project is about. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about it here. I just wanted to share with you what the book looks like. It came out really cool, and the poster too, and the workbooks. I think they turned out really cool. But also to talk about the importance of these things in the coming months and years. Because, again, the news is the news, and unless you have a practice of things like gratitude, generosity, courage, vulnerability, keeping the Sabbath, spending time with God, getting to know God, these things are the things that truly matter, folks. And the reason they matter is because at some point, if you're left alive, these are going to be the things that really feed you. You may not have food. You may not have shelter. You may be running in the woods from Templar robots. Who knows? But you will have God. You will have the wisdom of God. You will have the patience of God. You will have the gratitude and all of the things that kept people in strength, even though they were being hunted down like animals in history, even though they were being crucified for sport in the stadiums. Who knows how much of that is going to return, but we know that some of it will. And so if you are not prepared for that mentally with the timeless things, with things like having a daily gratitude practice, it just sounds so simple and so easy, and that's exactly why most people don't do it. It's just like all the things that you should do for health, like brushing your teeth, at least once a day, flossing, standing up straight, eating less carbs. All these things are very simple, and they're the ones that actually give you results. But people often overlook the simple things that they need to do every day. And as a result, they're always chasing something. So make sure you're enriching your life with the timeless things. And with that in mind, this resource that I released, which I'm very, very happy with, I really am. I hope that it's going to be edifying to you. It will join my devotional and my other book, The Way Home. I think that's a total of, over 1,000 pages, 1,200 pages worth of material that's very God-centered, gospel-oriented, that's practical, that can give you advice on how to deal with suffering, how to deal with certain obstacles in life, how to reconnect to God, how to develop a habit of prayer, how to develop a habit of gratitude, how to develop a habit of generosity, how to develop relationships with people. All these things are so timeless, folks. They're so important. If these things were if people watched, these types of things as much as they watch my news episodes, then I would feel really good about that. The news is great, but, it can really suck you into an endless cycle of despair if you don't complement that with regular meditation on the important things. So with that in mind, make sure you check that out. Like I said, I'll put gosh, that sun is super bright, isn't it? I'll put a description and a link in this post, but I wanted to show you how these things came out because they turned out really cool. So if we just switch our camera view here. All right, so behold the gratitude map. I think this just came out so cool. You have no idea, guys. When I released this project first, the workbook was just this crummy little PDF because I didn't have like a printer that I could give this life to. And now with everything that God has blessed me with, and with the store and with print on demand and everything that I've got, this workbook has become a reality, and it's an exercise workbook to help you do all these various exercises and reflections with great illustrations. I hired this artist when I first did it. His name was Douglas, and he did such a fantastic job bringing these things to life, which are essentially, philosophical, but by giving them some life with cartoons and animations, it really makes it feel like an adventure. And that's the whole point of this, is really to make it an adventure into developing a practice of gratitude, of generosity, of reconnecting to God. This is printed on premium paper. You can have QR codes to listen to each chapter. Remember, the chapters are free. The audiobook is free. I've taken it down from Audible, the old one, and I've replaced everything. I did a complete revamp of this book. I added about 20,000 more words, made it much more God-centered. Of course, it wasn't God-centered at all when I released it, but now it is something that I can say is consistent with what I have in other places. I want to show you this poster too, which came out so cool. This poster is the gratitude map. Again, the gratitude map is a book that's about these philosophical ideas, and they're not like super heady or anything, but by giving it the sense of an adventure and places to go, and like the swamp, for example, is where all the obstacles are, and we go over 8 major obstacles of life, and what each obstacle gives you is a treasure, in the sense like things that they remind you of. For example, scarcity reminds you of courage, and fatigue reminds you of balance, and so on. So we talk about that in the book, but I also want to show you that this QR code is also really cool, because it's just like these other things where you can scan it. Come on now. And if you want to listen to a given chapter for free, or you want to listen to the whole book, it takes you to the page, and here's all the all the audio tracks you can listen to, and a link to get the book in the poster bundle and everything else if you want. So I think that's super cool. All of this, I'm just so really taken aback, because I never thought this program would come back, and God really brought some life to it. And so I'm very excited about it. I really am, and I hope it edifies you. I hope it helps you in the coming months and years, again, with the things that are timeless, because we're going to need it, folks. We're going to need it. Like I said, if you're left alive, then you will need a practice of gratitude. You will need a practice of generosity. You will need courage. You will need vulnerability. All these things are things that we need to be practicing daily. We need to be trying to get closer and closer to God. And we will, of course, as time goes on and as these things become crazier and crazier, it will be a way for us to get closer to God for sure. You can count on that. So I hope this is edifying to you. Let me know if you have any questions. But like I said, if you want to learn more about the project, just read the description or go see the post that I made. This book came out in 2019, and I did it again 6 years later. God brought some life to it, so I'm very happy with what came out. I hope it's edifying to you. Take care. We'll see you next time. God bless.